When we talk about the funnel, what we've done now is we've created a much larger funnel for our business, because now no matter who walks in the door, all right, welcome back. It is the Built by Vitality podcast. I am Steve Pinkerton. I'm sitting with Philip Lewis here to my right. And our guest today is Brent Walbridge. Brent has been with us since when, B-Dub?
Oh, gosh, 2014.
2014. He came on as kind of we didn't really have a spot for him, but I liked him a lot. He was a really good fit. I knew there was going to be something that we could get him involved with in the future. I just didn't know what that was. So we brought him on, had him coach some classes. He started doing some personal training, and now you fast forward and he is the program manager for EvoFit, which is for us here at Vitality, our biggest program, our most popular program, and he manages that whole animal. So we'll get into a little bit of that, but we're excited to have him on board today. And we're going to talk about how to fix your funnel in your business, whether that business is a fitness business or any other business. We're going to talk about fixing the funnel. And when I say fixing the funnel, what I'm talking about is how can we appeal to the largest group of people to get them efficiently onboarded into your service or program, again, whatever it is that you're doing. And we've figured that out kind of the hard way. But I now think, looking back throughout the last 11 years, if only we would have had EvoFit from day one, life would have been a little easier. So what we're going to talk about is how we fix the funnel in our fitness business. But a very simple analogy could be with a dealership. What if Philip owned a dealership and he only sold trucks? Well, he's only going to appeal to a small percentage of people. Probably, would you say that a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids is going to want to go get a truck?
No, they need a minivan. They need like a big car,
Yep.
Something like that to get their kids back and forth.
So again, that's why when you go to a dealership, you see they're trying to appeal to whoever walks into that lot. Whatever their need is, they have a solution for that need. The last thing that you want to do with whatever business you're in is someone comes into that business and you do not have a solution for what their need is.
Restaurant too, same thing. If you only sell one type of food, that's all you can get. That's all you can appeal to.
Yep. Now, don't get me wrong. There are businesses out there, your high-end Lamborghini dealerships, your foreign, those. Well, I'm not a car guy, but Maserati. They only sell those vehicles, and they sell them at a price point that they can justify appealing to that very, very niche market. To me, that's not really what I would want to do. I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to appeal to that 0.5% of the population. I would want to try and appeal to 99% of the population, and then hopefully having a much larger margin for error when you run your business. So, Brent, why don't you, when we first launched EvoFit, why don't you give us a little bit of background on what your expectations were? Because I don't want to tell you what my expectations were, but I will tell you that when we launched EvoFit, I had no idea it was going to be what it is today. What were your expectations?
So you didn't expect it to do well. You didn't believe in Brent.
I didn't believe in Brent.
Well, when we first started, we were kind of, if you know what our facility looks like, there's this long hallway, and then to the left, there's this room. And when we started the program, I guess my expectation was to just, let's fill that room up. And before you know, we're outgrowing that space, and then we're moving and talking about bigger and better things. But we just want to we wanted to create a fitness program that everybody could do. And that's what we worked towards, and that's what we did initially. And we didn't realize how big of an impact that would have on so many different types of people that came through the doors.
And I think I look back to when we had a new member come at the old facility. That new member would come in. We would explain to them what CrossFit was, which nobody knew what CrossFit was at the time, just maybe what they've seen on TV. And it was a very intimidating environment, a very intimidating program. And we were, without even knowing it, we were that niche market. We were the Lamborghini dealership where you were coming from a Gold's Gym where you're paying $15 a month, and now all of a sudden we're asking you to pay $185 to $2 something a month for a training that you had no idea what it was.
It was much harder to explain that to somebody, or sell that to somebody.
Yeah.
I would tell it to somebody that would come into the gym and we just had CrossFit. I'd be like, hey, I know you've seen stuff on Instagram or TV, the CrossFit Games. I'm like, not everybody does that. That's like saying I watch NFL football, but I can't go throw the ball with my kid in the backyard. I can't do something. It was hard to explain that with CrossFit.
And the way that you would try and do that is a lot of gyms did intros and they'd say, okay, well, come try a class. Well, we stopped doing that very soon after we started because it did not provide a good experience for that individual. Because let's say for those that are familiar with that CrossFit methodology, there might be a day where the workout is a 20 rep max back squat. If I bring in Susie off the street who hasn't back squatted in
Ever.
Yeah, ever. And we said, okay, hey, the workout's 20 rep max back squat. Well, Brent is never going to allow her to truly max her back squat for 20 reps. He is going to err on the side of, okay, let's make sure Susie walks out of here under her own power. So maybe she does 65 pounds. Well, she's missing the stimulus 100%. She finishes, she's like, okay, well, basically did 20 air squats and that took up an hour of my time and you want me to pay you $190 to do this. It was a terrible experience for her. And then you go to the other extreme and you say, okay, well, maybe it was the perfect workout and it was a 30-minute endurance-based aerobic workout that like on Thursdays here at Vitality, we do a much longer aerobic piece. Well, now all of a sudden, the expectation is a little bit different, and maybe we get Susie, but then a week into it, she realizes that, man, we only do that once a week or whatever. And it was very difficult to explain to people and provide people the experience they needed to have to make a buying decision. So a lot of times we ended up trying to talk people into trying this. Mm-hmm. And when you talk someone into doing something, it puts you in a very tough position because now you're trying to convince them that this is for them. And so when Brent started running EvoFit, we said, well, wait a second, why don't we just give every new member to EvoFit, let Brent do an assessment for the first 30 days. And after those first 30 days, if they want to stay in EvoFit, great. If they want to transition over into CrossFit, at that point, we can run our foundations program and they can get over to CrossFit. But now, would you agree with me that it's very easy to run an intro on the EvoFit side?
It is. It's very easy. Yep.
And when we run our intros over there, does it matter to you what time they come in?
It does not. It could be a big class. It could be a small class. I can accommodate someone that has or hasn't worked out at any time. Nothing affects my members that have been here for a long time. I can get them in, get them a workout, and nothing changes.
Does it change the way you explain a workout as far as if you have an intro or if you don't have an intro, does it change the flow of the class at all?
It doesn't, because the way we run things with the warm-up, we demo everything. We talk everybody through what that warm-up looks like, and we do the same thing before we start the workout. We brief the workout. We show all the movements. We talk about scaling. If you need to scale, how do you scale? And I'm going to do that if I have 3 people in my class that have been here for 3 years, and I'm going to do that if I have an intro. So nothing changes.
And that was what was so appealing to this is I could take someone like Philip. He wants to learn about CrossFit Vitality. He comes in, he says, hey, I heard about this CrossFit thing. I really want to try it. We would then say, okay, cool, man. Listen, the way that we onboard everybody at Vitality, we start you in EvoFit. You do that for 30 days, and then it's completely up to you. We look at your ability level. We look at your mobility limitations. We look at some of the injury restrictions you might have, and then we can tailor that first 30 days to your ability level. And then at the end of that, we'll have a conversation. And if you want to cross over and get a barbell in your hands, then we'll do that. What was interesting is, 85+% of our EvoFit members will go to Brent and say, hey, this is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
This is what I need. I don't want to cross over into another program. I want to stay in EvoFit. And for us, that's fine with us. We don't, it's when you, and Brent's had the ability of coaching CrossFit and EvoFit. So he sees coaching a 20-person CrossFit class. What do you think the difference is of coaching a 20-person EvoFit class?
Well, on the EvoFit side, we tend to see a larger variety of types of athletes. So if I'm coaching a CrossFit here at Vitality and I got 20 members, I know that everybody in that class probably has a pretty good idea of what's going on. In my EvoFit class, I know that that's not necessarily the case. So I take, special care, especially with the newer athletes, to really spend time with them. I can really coach like the foundation of what exercise is looking like. What is this movement supposed to look like? It just helps keep me on my toes.
I think that when you look at the demographic of who the avatar EvoFit client is and the avatar of CrossFit, that CrossFit client is a little more type A, a little more self-motivated. I think they're going to get here 10, 15 minutes early. They're going to stay after, and they're going to talk and hang out and, bust people's chops. EvoFit, it's a little different. Those members, their life does not by any stretch revolve around fitness. Yeah. They're there because they want to get healthy, they want to get fit, but they're not as involved in the community aspect as the CrossFit community, which is fine. And that's perfectly fine. They want to get in and out, and they want to get on their day. They're not as obsessed over, you see CrossFit guys, I bet you the majority of them will go home and watch. And when they first started CrossFitting, they went home and watched videos. They went home and watched the games. Yeah. I can promise you 99% of our EvoFit members are not going home and watching movements on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference too. CrossFit, we use Wodify, and you can put your score in, like there's scoring on that side. Mm-hmm. And even then, a couple of those members, they still don't put their score in, which you should, so you know if you're getting better or not. But at EvoFit, we don't do that. We go on the options sometimes, but they don't want to put the score up. They just want to get fit, work out, and then leave.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think if as I say this out loud, it'll sound weird, but I think the more sustainable fitness option is EvoFit. I think that as much as I love CrossFit and I love the barbell, and I do think that every single person on this planet should have a barbell in their hands, and they should pick heavy things up off the ground. They should put them over their head. Does that mean I think people need to max their deadlift, max their squat? No. But I do think there's a huge advantage to that. I think sustainability-wise, I think it's EvoFit. And why do you think that? Do you see a lot of CrossFitters come over into EvoFit?
We do. We supplement a lot of CrossFitters over to the EvoFit program.
And do you think that's mainly because they love the program, or do you think it's because their body needs it?
I think their body needs it. If you ask a lot of them, they'll tell you that they need some time away from the barbell week to week, a couple workouts a week, maybe one, maybe two, maybe it's every other week. They need to come over there and just get a little bit of a break from the heavy weights, move, sweat, so they can feel good in the next couple days.
And if you haven't experienced CrossFit or EvoFit and you're listening or whatever, EvoFit is not easy. It is not easy. You ask a lot of the CrossFitters here that's never tried it, they're like, man, I'm not going over there. It looks really hard. It looks really tough.
Right.
And then you ask EvoFit, and they're like, I'm not going over there. Y'all are doing pull-ups. Y'all are throwing a barbell around. I don't want to do that. But they're both their own animal. But like over there, you're not doing higher gymnastic skill work or throwing the barbell over your head.
And that comes back to when we talk about the funnel, what we've done now is we've created a much larger funnel for our business, because now no matter who walks in the door, let's say Philip comes into Vitality and he's 80 pounds overweight. He hasn't been in a fitness program in a decade, and he has no idea what he's looking for. When he walks in the doors, if all we have is CrossFit and those guys are out there and they're getting it, I don't think we can get that individual. I don't think Philip comes in.
That's a much harder sell.
Very difficult. Because I can't put him in a class, because I don't want to put him in a class, because I don't think he'll get, like we talked about in the beginning, I don't think he's going to get the experience that he needs to feel comfortable. And you got to understand too, we've been here for 11 years. So when you come into a CrossFit class, the majority of those people have been here 4, 5, 6 years. It's tough being the brand new guy that doesn't know anything. So you've got that barrier. So what we did is we've created EvoFit, and now when Philip comes in and he's intimidated, we said, hey man, listen, jump into an EvoFit class and see what you think. We're not convincing anybody of anything. They go to the class, and there's such a wide range of ability on that side. And there's people that are former college athletes. There's former professional athletes over there. There are stay-at-home moms. There are 60-year-olds. Everything that you can imagine on the spectrum, we have that. So now they can relate to somebody else that has a similar story, and now they really enjoy that class. Now they finish and they're like, man, Brent, this is what I'm looking for. I'd love to try this. So now what we've done is, no matter who walks in that door, we can appeal to them.
You're not forcing them to do something. They're almost making their own decision. If they do EvoFit and they're really good at it and they like it, and they're looking for the barbell, they can make that choice and talk to us and be like, I'm ready for that next step. What do you think? What do you see? If there's some things they need to work on, or where you give them advice, maybe they stay in there a little bit longer before they go over to CrossFit. You don't force them.
That's where Brent comes in. Brent will do these goal-setting reviews, and he'll talk to, well, you talk to us. Tell us a little bit about what the purpose of that is, and what you found to be kind of the most effective way to do that.
Yeah, so I will try and sit down with every new member that walks through the door. I give them an opportunity to sit down with me. I carve out time. We come here and sit down and talk, or maybe it's over the phone. And really, I'm trying to get an idea of what they're looking to get out of all of this. And sometimes I'll have people come in, like Steve talked about earlier, is I just want to get fit. I want to feel good, look good, get my nutrition down, and we talk about how to make that happen. And then other times I'll sit down with somebody. It's like, I really want to get over to the CrossFit side. I love lifting weights. I want to compete. I want that. And then I'll say, okay, this is what we need to do to make that happen. And sometimes they have no idea what it takes to get over to the CrossFit side, but I can lay some things out for them, make a couple short-term, long-term goals for them to allow that to happen for that individual.
And I think that's where people really enjoy the culture that we've created. Is Philip might come to us and say, hey, I'm ready to do CrossFit. And Brent has had him in class for the last 2 months, and he knows that Philip isn't quite ready for CrossFit
Kind of like
yet.
when I started.
Yeah, kind of like last week. What Brent can then say is, hey man, listen, here are some things that I think are going to set you up for success if you want to get over to the CrossFit side. Here are some things I think you should work on. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, maybe that individual wants to do some personal training one time a week or twice a month or whatever it is. And once we know that individual's goals, well, then we can design an individual program to meet those goals. And the more aggressive the goals are, the more aggressive the training has to be. So if Philip comes to me and says, hey, I want to train for whatever that long Spartan race is. It's like the crazy one where it's 30
the
miles.
Ultra, I think
yeah,
it is.
something
Yeah.
like that. And you're 30 pounds overweight, well, then we know we're going to have to push you a little differently than some other people that don't have those lofty goals. Yeah. But then we can have that conversation with you and say, hey, man, listen, we're going to get on you. But in addition to this, you need to come see me, every Thursday at 3:00, and we're going to work on some specific stuff with you. And I think that where group fitness fails is they get so big, the group gets so big that you lose the ability to individualize the results for people. And what I'm most pleased about with how Brent runs it is I bet you I could take any single person in our EvoFit program and say, hey, Brent, tell me a little bit about them. And Brent knows enough about every single individual. And when we initially carved out this partnership for EvoFit, we decided that he needs to coach 45% of the classes. So, he is a huge face of that EvoFit program, and he's coached every single person in that program. That would be the other thing that I'd highly recommend. If you're going to have a program manager, that program manager can't be behind the scenes. That he has to be, or she has to be, involved daily with everything from programming to goal reviews to every piece of it, because they're the ones that are going to have the knowledge of everybody else's needs and goals. And that's what I think our strength is when it comes to EvoFit. So again, because of EvoFit, we now have the ability to appeal to, because I guess my question to you would be, Philip, do you think that who doesn't need a fitness program? I guess that's the easiest way.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Is there a group of people that don't, that you'd say, you know what, they don't need to have any type of focus on health and fitness?
No. Everybody needs something like that.
That's a hard.
Okay, maybe Rich Froning or Spencer. Like they don't really.
But
they're good.
But they're still going to work out.
Yeah.
Right. We've fallen into this, and we've fallen into a business model that every single person in the country needs.
Yes.
That's a hard. I mean, yes.
When I say need, or you say need, I mean like somebody that does not work out at all. They can come here and work out. No problem.
But even the
100%.
The flip side would be, let's say you do. Let's say it's someone like you that has worked out for 15 years.
I come in here and you have something for me.
You're still gonna be able to appeal to this. So now we've taken this and we've said, okay, we have a product that can appeal to everybody. And our biggest hole was we couldn't onboard people through CrossFit efficiently enough. And we've tried to fix that by creating a hybrid program called EvoFit, which now, no matter who you are, no matter what your background is, you can come in and we can get you in the funnel and into our program.
I like to compare stuff to food. This is like, Vitality is like a buffet. So the whole family can go.
You must be hungry.
The whole family can go, and everybody has something there.
Something for everybody.
The kid has chicken nuggets. I got some steak. Brent's got some lasagna. Everybody has something in one place.
Yeah. And I think when you start getting into that, niche market, that's where you got to be careful. So I would challenge people to look at their business, look at what it is that they do, and ask themselves, who am I not being able to reach? So let's say, I'll give you another example at Vitality, what we did. What if we had a mom and 2 kids and we didn't offer daycare? We didn't have childcare. Well, now all of a sudden we're giving that person an out of, you know what, they don't have daycare. I can't switch my schedule around, whatever. So what did we do? 10 years ago, we started a child care service, and now people can drop their kids off in the morning and in the evening, and we have child care available.
We have the kids.
And then we have our CrossFit Kids program. So we've really tried to minimize the number of excuses that we give people why they can't do this. For Brent, when you started, what was busier, the morning or the evening?
I would say the morning was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we added was the evening. Mornings got busy, and then we had people that came in that would tell Brent, hey, I can't make it at 6 a.m. I wish you had an evening class. We said, cool, let's do it. So we started adding classes, and now what's our schedule? I mean, what did we just do with our schedule?
We just added a 4 o'clock to accommodate the class that runs at 4 for teens and for the kids. So now we have the opportunity to provide the parents that drop the kids off to come do class now as well with us.
And now you're looking at our evening classes as 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're now, no matter what someone's schedule is, no matter what their situation is, they can come here and it will work. And we've seen on the gym side, we've seen a lot of people only have a morning class, or they only have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's really difficult if you're going to truly try and fix your funnel. It has to be a all-in fix. It can't just be, hey, on the third Tuesday of every month, we're going to run this special class. Because once Philip is going to miss one of those Tuesdays, he won't do it.
Yeah.
And so I think when you look at your funnel, we want to make this thing as wide as possible. And you want to imagine. I remember when we started, we ran some 6-week challenges.
Yep.
And I remember how much I despised the 6-week challenge for the CrossFit, because it was so hard to get 30 new people into a CrossFit program. And there'll be people listening to this that will say, oh, well, I did that. Now, no, you didn't run CrossFit with 30 people. You ran some watered down version of CrossFit, but it was not CrossFit. But on the EvoFit side, on the hybrid side, when we initially grew that program, we grew it through some 6-week challenges, and we were able to bring in 20 or 30 people, and it was amazing. It was perfect. That is how you know that your funnel is efficient, if you can bring in a number of people all at one time, and your service, your product does not change. You don't have to lower the standard of what you're offering. So that would be my advice to, especially in the gym world. If you are an only CrossFit gym, I think you're missing a big piece of potential revenue. That isn't. It's going to take a little bit of effort, but it's not that difficult from what you're doing now. And in the end, what do you think the time frame was, Brent, from the time we started it until the time it was running pretty efficiently?
I mean, right around a year, I would say. We had a good maybe 4 or 5 classes after a year we were offering, and they were consistent every day.
There's a lot of gyms out there that probably do CrossFit, but they don't say CrossFit in their name. Even if you go there and you walk in and they're doing actual CrossFit, they still got to have another program.
Yeah.
You still just can't. So, well, my gym isn't CrossFit, but if you go in and that's what they're doing, you still got to have something else, or that's still going to kind of scare people off. You're narrowing down the clientele you can have.
And I think that there's so many things that can be advantageous about it. Is not, again, EvoFit is not a watered down version of CrossFit.
No.
It is not CrossFit Light. It's not, a boot camp where we only are using our body weight and we're doing, a mile of walking lunges or whatever.
If anybody does not believe us, come try it.
Try a class.
And we'd love to have someone try, because here's the other thing. I think one of the reasons that Brent has been so successful here is he doesn't have this big ego where when someone has a bad experience, if they don't enjoy the program, it's not all of a sudden like, oh, well, we need to change the program. Now, just because we appeal to everybody doesn't mean this program is going to be everybody's dream program.
Yeah.
We're going to get, we've had, I mean, over 1,000 people come through and do EvoFit memberships, and not every one of them has stayed.
Right.
I think Brent can understand. He can say, you know what, this month's programming was a little bit hit or miss. Maybe I need to make a couple changes. I'm going to tweak something a little bit. Maybe I'm going to change this style of workout a little bit. And I think Brent he continues to evolve every month over the last 5 years. We just don't get stagnant. We don't stay in the same place and try to do the same thing. And I think that is his personality is what has made this so successful, because I think a lot of people, they fall in love with their product and they don't want to change it because they just think that that's the best. Mm-hmm. And I think Brent has done a really good job with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish Philip could do a little bit better like that. So Philip, can you be a little bit more like Brent?
I can.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I tried to when I was his partner in a workout the other day.
That's right. That didn't work out though.
No.
We'll try again.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, again, I think I use this as an analogy for fitness, but you could throw me any business, and I think you could walk through this in the same way. I don't know that. Hopefully, your business can appeal to the masses, like I think the fitness business can, and that's why the space is so inundated with businesses, because again, it's like insurance. Everybody needs to get fit, and so I hope this helps. I hope it kind of open some eyes up to why we do what we do here and why we're so passionate about our EvoFit program and the ability it's made and given us here at Vitality. And again, if you are in the area or you're dropping by, shoot us an email, hit us up in the comments, come try a class. We'd love to have you, or just come watch a class and get to see what it's all about. But until next time,
I'm Philip Lewis. This is Steve Pinkerton, and we're out.
And we appreciate Brent stopping in. You'll see more of him later. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.